Rev up your engines!
If you watch this YouTube video by Ford Boss Me, he found a low mileage Ford diesel and saw how corroded it was inside when he took it apart. That's why if you're going to buy a diesel, you got to read about idling time. How long did it sit there idling like the police cars that sit a long time? Now this was a 2016 Ford F550, which had a 6.0-liter Power Stroke engine. Very common engine, right? And it only had 27,000 miles on it, but it was completely sludged up inside from not being driven enough idling. Maybe it had 27,000 miles. Who knows? Maybe it idled for 5,000 hours. Who knows? You know, people generally don't keep a record of that stuff these days. That idling time not only wears the engine, but the fluids just start to wear out from idling and sitting, build up of corrosion. Now, according to statistics I've read, 1 hour of idling is equivalent to about 26 miles of driving. And driving at slow speeds, not high speeds. And so, let's say you got a diesel vehicle, or even a gasoline vehicle for that matter. If you're using it for work and it idles all the time, like you're at a work site or something, if you idle a vehicle 6 hours a day, it's suggested that you have to change your oil every 30 days because it's going to clog up. They're not made for idling. And if you saw that video, you'll see there's all kinds of sludge. The oil pickup that sucks the oil into the oil pump to pump the pressure up is almost completely blocked up. And this one, the turbocharger was destroyed because it didn't get lubrication. It spins real fast, right? This turbocharger is super fast, spinning turbine blades. And what's it lubricated by? The engine oil. So if you got a turbocharged car, I don't care what anybody says. There's no way I'd ever go 10, 12,000 mile oil change. If I had a turbocharged car, I would change that oil every 5,000 miles religiously with pure synthetic oil. Big reason you don't want to idle your car or truck a really long time. I mean, if you are sitting there idling, are you going to change your oil every 30 days? Hardly anybody does anything like that. So it's a lesson to be learned. And if you're going to buy a used diesel that's got low mileage, demand to see a meter that's hours run. A lot of the big trucks come with those meters built in. And if you're looking at one that doesn't have a meter, they don't give you the information. My advice is don't buy the thing. You want to know the hours run, just like a boat. The boat motors. Some of these boat motors only last 300-400 hours of operating time, so you definitely would want the log. Now, the modern boat motors, of course, it's all computerized and it's in the computer record, which you can access. And if you're ever buying a boat, you want to have that checked out. Same thing if you're buying a vehicle that idled a lot, you'd want a record of how long that idled. Tagarine 95 email says, is a used Honda CR-V a good buy? Well, they are excellent cars if taken care of. If you watched the news a little while back, there was a man in Florida, I think it was Tallahassee. He had a CR-V that had over 1 million miles on it. One with 6 zeros after it. That's a lot of mileage. So I got to say, they must be pretty good cars. They can last that long. Buying a new one, all the new ones cost too much, but you can find a good used one probably. NX says, Scotty, your AT205 recommendation worked wonders on my leaking Acura. What's your experience with the Moly product? It's a German company. Now, the idea behind Moly is molybdenum bisulfate. It is a compound that is a very good lubricant. It's used in World War II in their fighter planes so that they give it as much power as possible, and maybe the engine wouldn't blow up. It could spin a little faster. And I guess if somebody's shooting at you with 850 calibers in a Mustang, I'm assuming that you would probably want to get away as fast as you could. It's a very good lubricant, molybdenum bisulfate. There's one problem with it. It's black. And then people have liquid Moly oil. The oil is black. They think, oh, it needs to be changed because it's black. Then you have to go strictly by mileage. They make good products. I can't say I've had people have problems with them. They make excellent liquid products. I don't know how far any of these additives actually do to improve gas mileage and all that crap. They're not bad products. They're not going to damage anything. And a lot of people swear by them. Joseph Garcia says, I got an '08 automatic transmission Honda Civic with a bad tranny slip. Mechanics charging $1,000. What do you think? You say it's slipping bad. If he fixes it for $1,000 and it's really fixed next year, it's still going fine, you got one heck of a deal. A true professional mechanic that rebuilds Honda automatic transmissions is going to charge anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 to rebuild that thing. Let's hope the guy knows what he's doing, and if he does fix it for $1,000, you're getting one heck of a deal. Just ask him what he did so you can tell me what he did, and I'll know exactly what the guy did. Look at the bill, have me want an invoice of all the parts and everything he used. Brandon Does Gaming says, Grandpa gave me a 1981 Dodge D250 with only 80,000 miles. Thoughts? Back in 81, Dodge made a lot better products than what they make today. They make some pretty good products back then. And if it's really only got 80,000 miles, let's say your grandpa was the original owner, yeah, great, he gave it to you, nice, take care of it, fix it up, those things can last a really long time. Master K says, my 2000 Camry had very minor damage at the back of the frame after I got rear-ended. What should I do? Well, make the person who rear-ended you pay for it all. Let their insurance company pay for the damage, take it to a reputable body shop, and have them go at it. Now, if it wasn't that bad, realize the back of the Camry just rolls down the road, right? It's front-wheel drive, transmission, engine. The drive shafts are all in the front. The back wheels just roll along. As long as they fix it straight so it tracks good, and the rear tires track down the road good, have an alignment shop check it, because there's front-wheel alignment, there's also back-wheel alignment. Before you sign any papers, if it's insurance, road test it. Say, I'm road testing. You're testing shakes or pulls, take it right back and say, I'm not signing a check until you fix it right. Because once you sign that insurance check and they got their money, good luck getting any more work out of people. I've seen that over the years, guys. Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll take care of that problem. Just give us the check. After that, oh, well, we're busy. Well, leave it with us. And then 2 months later, they haven't even touched it. So don't sign off till you're happy. And that's law. You're allowed to road test it. Derek Bosser says, Scotty, what do you think makes a squeaky noise? Rear differential or transmission? Depends where the squeaky noise is coming from. I bought one of these Chinese-made noise detector machines. It's got, I believe it's got 8 sensors with real long wires and clips. They're like battery cable clips. You clip it on different parts of the vehicle, drive down the road, you have the headphones on, let somebody else drive while you're doing it, and you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can look at, got digital graph, green, yellow, red, that you can see on the machine. You can also have the headphones turned so you can hear the noise louder. You can pinpoint the noise then. Put one on a transmission, one on a differential, and you can find out what the noise is. Don't just guess. Guessing is foolhardy. Scotty, how hard is it to learn how to diagnose electrical problems since there are so many computers now and circuits? What's the hardest thing to learn now? Yeah, you know, it used to drive me nuts, but if you watch it in my later videos, I got this insane $6,000 scan tool that Think tool makes out. Oh man, it takes all the data on a road test. Then you can graph 4 different data points in color graphs. They're each a different color line and look at it. The hardest thing is to understand what a wave pattern's supposed to look like. That machine I was telling you about is also a digital storage oscilloscope, DSO. If you have a really glitchy problem, the machine that I'm using, that takes like 15,000 samples per second. You think, great, that'll find all the problems. Well, I use that same tool, but then I put on the digital oscilloscope that it came with. Because a digital storage oscilloscope can take 400 million samples a second. I'm not making this up. I thought it was something that, 15,000 samples a second. DSO can do 400 million samples a second. It is insane how fast those machines are. And the real hassle is getting, once you get the data, is seeing how does it make sense? What's good? What's bad? That's what takes the time. A lot of studying, but there's a lot of sites out there that we mechanics use that have storages of good known waveforms. So we'll check one and then we'll look at that. We'll go to the website and we'll say, okay, what does a Corolla fuel injector look like on deceleration, and see if our pattern's the same? That's the part that takes the most time. Liberty Lovin says, Scotty, do you live free? Live free or die? Of course, that's the state motto of New Hampshire. Should be the state motto of everything, but New Hampshire got it first in the Revolutionary War, and I attempt to live free or die, but then on the other hand, I've been married to the same woman for 53 years, so how free am I? Well, it's free as she lets me be. She lets me be pretty free, though, so I can't complain. Malik Mohammed says, of course Scotty lives free. He doesn't pay for anything. Well, electric bills, water bills, insurance bills. I never have car payment bills because I just pay cash for cars, But everybody's got bills, and we live in a capitalist society. You want to be comfortable, you're going to have to pay some bills. You want to be a hobo, live on the street, well, no thanks. There's a lot of mosquitoes all the places I've lived. I don't like being eaten alive by mosquitoes, and it's either too hot or too cold. This isn't Hawaii. I guess if you're in Hawaii, you can live on a beach all the time as long as you can catch fish and get food and get some drinking water. You can't drink the ocean water. Kevin C. says, my Mustang is losing fuel pressure. It doesn't start up right after the engine's hot, or if it's hot outside here in Florida. Sensors, fuel pump has been replaced. All right, your car doesn't start after it's hot. One of 2 problems generally. Either the engine is being flooded out, or it's not getting any fuel at all. So, first thing, get yourself a little can of spray starting fluid, right? Take the air filter off. Spray a little in, see if the car starts. If it starts up, could be a fuel pump relay. You said you changed the fuel pump. Could be a restricted fuel filter. Could be that. But let's say you starting fluid, it still doesn't start. Well, odds are it's flooded out with too much fuel. It's often a leaking fuel pressure regulator or fuel injectors themselves that when you shut it off, they're old and their pintles don't shut, so it drips gas. And when you stop a car and it's hot, gas drips in the engine, it will flood it out. So let's say your car's hard to start. Put the pedal to the floor. That's the on flood mode. Put it on the floor, turn it over. If it starts then, it's flooding out. Then you got to find out why. Is it a fuel injector leaking? Something like that has to be wrong. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.